Let's execute an immediate high-gear tactical vector shift straight into the complex, calculation-heavy grid of fractured family structures, dark domestic noir, and deep psychological secrets. We are stepping into the quiet, intensely claustrophobic spaces of shared history and devastating personal cover-ups, with Three Mothers, a spectacular high-velocity psychological thriller by the master of emotional friction, Hannah Beckerman. This standout standalone calculation delivers an addictive look at a desperate web of deception, where the choices of the past prepare a lethal collision track for the present. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you are a fan of slow-burn, heart-pounding domestic suspense, where multiple female viewpoints intersect around a singular, world-shattering hidden truth, where a brilliant array of complex characters must navigate intense emotional manipulation, and where the author utilizes an incandescent, shattered maternal bonds diagnostic routine to test our protagonist's survival perimeters, this book is engineered to lock you in. Beckerman completely dominates the domestic noir dynamic, capturing the heart-racing emotional momentum, heavy internal guilt, and sharp psychological tension popularized by genre vanguards like Liane Moriarty, Lisa Jewell, Adele Parks, and Sally Hepworth, while treating deep familial trauma, long-buried secrets, and intense personal betrayals with absolute technical mastery. The narrative tracking grid zeroes in on three distinct focal points, three women whose operational lives seem completely insulated from one another, but share a deeply corrupted systemic foundation. Their profiles are standard, structured, and entirely grounded in their individual matrices of maternal protection and survival. Each operates under a strict calculation-heavy internal defense routine designed to guard their loved ones and obscure their personal vulnerabilities from external observation tracking networks. The spark ignites when an unexpected link begins to thread between their seemingly separate positioning coordinates. The diagnostic metrics of an old, buried event start flashing immediate system alerts. An anomaly from decades ago is resurfacing, threatening to compromise their active safety buffers. As the narrative tracking clock shifts into a brilliant multi-perspective rhythm, the defensive perimeters surrounding each mother begin to erode. They aren't just dealing with standard family disputes, their internal monitoring systems register that a calculation-heavy revelation is approaching, prepared to execute a total delete of their current realities. The tactical parameters instantly explode as the hidden truth begins to breach their active zones, transforming quiet suburban lives into a volatile psychological pressure cooker. Our protagonists are forced to deploy their massive intuitive tradecraft, observation skills, and emotional stamina to protect their children and navigate a maze of shifting alliances. When deceptive conversations, unexpected arrivals, and a looming institutional exposure threaten to collapse their tracking vectors, their survival instincts engage their final deployment tracks. Every late-night confrontation behind closed doors, every desperate audit of historical choices, and every fiercely intense moment of tracking a family member's movements carries massive operational weight. What follows is an exceptional high-stakes war of perspective and raw human grit. We watch their mental perimeters completely unwrapped as they realize the threat isn't just an external blackmailer, it is the inescapable gravity of their own choices. While they attempt to smooth over their individual blind spots with devastating analytical force, the overarching countdown clock hits a breathtaking climax, proving that the forces running the exposure have mapped their historical vulnerabilities perfectly. To survive the impending exposure and outmaneuver the fallout, these resilient heroes must unleash an absolute unyielding defense of their futures. It is a domestic thriller, psychological suspense, family drama, contemporary mystery noir masterpiece that treats deep emotional logistics and intense psychological friction with elite precision. The tension here burns with a sharp, calculation-heavy intensity. We are talking about that high-frequency, one unveiled secret shatters an entire generation energy, where a sudden pause in a phone conversation, an unexpected discovery of an old photograph, or a heavy, possessive realization that someone you trust completely has been gaslighting you for years carries massive structural weight. Beckerman writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and beautifully blunt voice, perfectly capturing the quiet, heavy atmosphere of tense family kitchens, the emotional chill of unspoken words, and the distinct, subtle scent of old paper, rain-soaked pavement, maternal fear, and pure, unadulterated suspense. What truly elevates this milestone thriller into elite territory is the author's unmatched ability to balance realistic emotional depth alongside a breathtaking narrative pace and deep conceptual hooks. Her protagonists don't rely on unbelievable, superficial hero tropes. Their immense intelligence, emotional resilience, and profound love for their families match the complexity of the domestic underworld they dominate step for step, making their choices to risk everything to contain the damage feel profoundly authentic and deeply gripping.
The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking intense conversational standoffs and breathtaking tactical breakthroughs before ratcheting up to an absolute world-shattering conclusion that delivers total hard-earned closure to a Horizon. Three Mothers is the definitive pro-level upgrade your contemporary suspense and high-stakes mystery library demands right now. It is elegant, immensely fast-paced, and utterly unput-outable. It proves that when your entire sanctuary is targeted by the ghosts of your own history, the most revolutionary play you can execute is to audit the data, trust your protective instincts, and fight like hell to write your own ending. So, secure your personal reading sanctuary, review your emotional defensive perimeters, open your Kindle, and prepare to study the secrets.